This is my favorite vehicle from Ford. Well, favorite vehicle according to my brain, not according to my heart. Clearly there's others that are near and dear to me, such as the Shelby GT350, the Mustang GT, all sorts of great Ford products. But this is the one that the brain likes the most. This is my favorite brain choice from Ford. Let me tell you why this is actually one of the best vehicles on the market that you can buy right now. This is the 2025 Ford Escape, and I think more manufacturers need to build vehicles like this. So this is the plug-in Escape, meaning that it is both a gasoline powered vehicle with its 2.5 liter four-cylinder, inline four-cylinder, 5-stroke Atkinson engine with CVT transmission, as well as the electric motor that goes along with that, and a 14.4 kilowatt battery that's going to allow you to really get the best of both worlds. This can be your long haul vacation vehicle as much as it can be when it's going to need to run on gas, but it can also be your daily fully electric vehicle to get you to and from work. So let's talk about this and a whole lot more. Its driving comfort, the space, what it comes with standard, because this vehicle comes extremely equipped with safety features and comfort features that really impress me for the price, making it one of the best vehicles, small compact SUVs on the market. But the spacing is actually surprising. Even if you're 6'6", you're gonna fit in this vehicle. So let's go over to the side and just start going over a few important factors. I want to make sure nobody gets fooled, but before we get started, please do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn bell notifications on. Otherwise, this will probably be the only time that YouTube suggests or offers you up this content. We're a small family business. Please consider supporting us with that subscribe and thumbs up. Now, don't be fooled. First thing, before we get into all the nitty and gritty of the vehicle, I want to make sure that you don't pay for the plug-in charger. Ford offers this, so do not let your dealership try to tell you that you need to pay, $600 or $700 for this. It comes with the vehicle, and it comes with ample amount of cord. No matter how you park the vehicle, nose first, or you back into your spot, you're gonna have plenty of cord, and that comes with the vehicle. You're looking at about 11 hours of charging if you plug it into the 110 volt. So you don't need any fancy charger. You can plug it into the 110 volt and get 11 hours of charging if you're completely empty, or roughly 2 to 3 hours of charging if you plug it into a 220 volt. So if you have a 220 volt outlet, you can just plug it right in and get all your charging done within 2 to 3 hours. All right, let's start with space. We'll go for the road test in just a minute. Actually, we'll maybe save that for tomorrow when we'll get some nicer weather. Yes, it's end of April and it is snowing. Enough with that. You've got a rear view camera as standard. Highly recommend you don't rub clean it because it's a plastic lens just like glasses, and that will sand it down and ruin your visibility with time. Now, I really like it's standard. You have the power tailgate, not foot activated, but this is the standard model, so you're not paying any extra for the power tailgate. You've got a great back seat trunk spacing is great, and the back seat, got that on the mind because the back seat can actually move forward. Stay right there, I'll show you. So you've got back seat that can move forward roughly about 6 inches to give you more trunk space. Or you can pull it back, put it down, and get the Costco or hardware store. You can get your things right in there and get a lot of space out of this. And actually, second row seating is pretty good. So come right around and I'll show you that second row seating. Now, it doesn't just come in one uncomfortable, very 90-degree angle. You've got this handle here, and you can get on an incline. Get a nice little incline here, and you even have this pull down drink holder, standard size drink, no big gulp in there. And you do have some spacing, even an extra small drink holder for a small bottle in the door. Now, for standard safety equipment, you've got blind spot detection. You also have, this is really nice. The keys are in my pocket, so I can unlock by putting my hand in the handle, or lock by putting my thumb over the little bars on the handle. So we'll unlock. And what we've got in here is your standard equipment. So standard comes adaptive cruise control, lane centering, so fantastic equipment, and plenty of space. I got a lot of leftover room. If I put the seat as low as it can go, I'm gonna end up with what, maybe 8 inches of headroom, and standard with driver electric seat, 8 directions. So really nicely equipped. You got the 13.12 touchscreen digital, and you also have the screen right here behind the steering. Nice little logo. So let's take it for a ride, talk about all electric mode, talk about hybrid mode, and really help you get the know-how on this vehicle. All right, let's start up the vehicle. Electric driver's seat, passenger, all manual. And it is started. You'll know because it'll say ready in a little green script on the dash. Handbrake automatically turns off. So if you drive away with the handbrake on, don't worry about it, folks. The vehicle is equipped to know what's going on, so it will shut that off for you. So you won't drive with the calipers squeezing the brakes and ruining your brake pads. Now, we unplugged it, very easy. It's as easy as unplugging a hairdryer. We just unplugged it, left the plug beside the garage, and now we are off. And it's in a very silent mode. Now, all vehicles, when they're in this all electric mode, are gonna leave a little bit of a noise because legally they have to. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just buy another brand because it's making this kind of science-y, spacey noise, they're all gonna make that noise. Some even sound like you're ascending to heaven. They have like a heavenly ascension noise. So I'm gonna be driving in an all electric mode, and the reason my brain says this is the best vehicle and it is my favorite vehicle is pretty simple. I can go to work and back most of the year 100% electric because I work about 10 miles away, and this has 31 miles of range, or roughly 61 kilometers. Now, yes, there are some downsides to that. There are times of the year where you're gonna get 0 range out of the vehicle, meaning the vehicle's not gonna go into all electric mode, but at least it will start. Some all electric vehicles in extreme cold weather in my area, I'm not gonna mention any brands, but it's not Ford, have not been able to start whatsoever. It's actually 2 European brands that have a reoccurring problem of when it's very, very cold, they're just not gonna start at all. Now, you do have the little L button on your shifter dial. So it's a dial to shift from park, reverse, neutral, or drive. In the middle, there's a little L button. If you hit that L button, it's not gonna keep you in a low gear because this is a 1-speed CVT transmission, and that's actually an e-CVT transmission developed with Toyota back in the 2000s. And what's great is it's actually a planetary gear set. So it's not strap driven or either a rubber belt or a chain. It's a planetary gear set. So think big gear with big teeth being controlled by other smaller metallic gears. So extremely reliable. So glad Ford worked on that with Toyota, or Toyota with Ford, however you want to view it. I really like the button configuration. I like the fact that I plugged it in, talking about going to work 100% electric. If you press the button, there's 2 ways to get in there, either by the touch screen or actually a button right beneath the touch screen, beneath the vents. So you have the touch screen, the vents, and then you've got a little button with a leaf, a little winner's flag, and a snowflake. That's where you can go to drive modes. But you can actually drive this most of the time either by pressing no button, and it's mixed. It's an ultra hybrid, getting you about 50-60 miles per gallon, or 2 to 3.5 liters per 100 kilometers, depending on the time of year. But that low button allows for additional motor resistance, so a little bit more, less utilization of the left foot brake pedal. So you kind of, instead of coasting from a great distance away to stop on the vehicle's own power, kind of like the one pedal drive on electric vehicles, I'm letting go. You can hear it, and it's creating a little bit of extra resistance with the electric motor, so a little bit more charging. And talking about charging, if you're on the 220 volt, if you have one of those big plugs, kind of like an oven plug or a dryer or a welder plug, well, that's going to run you about 2 to 3 hours charging time, and it's roughly 11 hours if the battery is completely gone on this. Unlike an electric, 11 to 12 hours. Unlike an electric vehicle though, if the battery is completely gone on this, you can just keep driving. So the reason why this is my brain's #1 choice, my favorite vehicle, not by the heart choosing, but the brain choosing, is that I can do long vacations with the family. And yes, the baby seat does fit nicely back there. With that sliding forward and back second row seating. And this vehicle will take you on that vacation. You could drive, whether you want to drive 10 hours or 20 hours straight. I could leave and go straight down to Florida for vacation time without any issues. You don't have to stop and recharge. But when you do stop and recharge, let's say for your daily commute, I can get back and forth to work 100% electric. Now, how much power do we get? I'd say the right answer is enough. And it's a little complicated. ChatGPT says that with the electric motor and the gasoline powered 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder 5-stroke Atkinson engine, that it's 210 horsepower. Now Ford rates it lower than that. I don't know if that's about insurances, where the mistake is being made, but I can tell you this feels like 210 horsepower. And it wouldn't surprise me, because if you look at the Lincoln Corsair is producing more power, quite a lot more power than the Escape, according to Ford's figures. So I wonder if Ford put the Escape horsepower figures lower to make the Lincoln Corsair seem more impressive. I don't know, but I do know that this has enough power to get done what needs to be done. Proper acceleration, passing on the highway, pulling out onto the main road when traffic is going by quickly. I really like this vehicle. Now, comfort, the seats are comfortable. They're bolstered enough so that someone with a smaller back doesn't slide around, but at the same time, someone with a very large back is still going to fit comfortably in the seat and not feel overly squeezed. Now, comfort, also suspension is great. I love driving in the silent mode. We've been all electric so far. Now let's turn the camera around, see how it takes the bendies and full throttle. All right, so going into the bendies here, a little roundabout. Holds it well together, no body roll, very little body roll, just a little bit. Pedal to the metal. All right, it's no Shelby GT350. That's maybe, or Mustang GT. That's maybe where the heart would desire that vehicle. But as a family vehicle, this has enough acceleration. I wouldn't do any dangerous maneuvers like trying to pass, 3-4 cars on a two-way road where traffic is going in different directions, and each lane of traffic, each direction only has one lane. Well, I wouldn't try to jump ahead of 3-4 vehicles that are stuck behind a tractor on those back roads. That is for sure. That would be extremely dangerous with this amount of power. That's the sound of being in low mode on the highway to help recharge that battery, which makes sense because I left home about 8-9 kilometers ago, and using the low button, I haven't used up any of the battery. I left at 44 kilometers and I currently have 45 kilometers as the battery recharges as I'm going down this highway hill. So that's pretty impressive. There will be times where this battery will definitely last you longer than the 61 kilometers. But something to know is when you get in the vehicle, some people get upset because they expect to see the maximum amount of kilometers or miles displayed, the best case scenario for the battery. So they expect to get in and see, 30 some miles or 61 kilometers. And that's just not going to happen, because it'll happen sometimes, a few weeks in the year, but But Ford's system is intelligent enough to kind of take into consideration the outside temperature, your previous driving style, and give you a real honest approximation of what, or guesstimation of what you're actually going to do for power. So let's see, we're on the highway here. We have to get out of the way and pass. Sounds not bad at all. Kind of, it's a little noisy if you're looking for a very silent vehicle. Well, this will be very silent 95% of the time, or 99% of the time. That small percentage of time, the 1 to 5% of the time when you're trying to pass quickly, well, this won't pass quickly. It will pass. It's fast enough to get the job done, but it's not fast. Let me clarify that. Don't buy this as a family vehicle. That's going to save you a lot of money on your wallet, and this is why it's my brain's favorite choice. There's all sorts of savings with this vehicle. The price tag, 45,000 Canadian. If you don't take a color that gets a charge on it, such as this red, more expensive to paint, so the charge gets passed on to the consumer, it'd be 44,000 so many hundred Canadian. Significantly less, obviously, in the States, but the price, the point I want to make here is the price within the category. This is excellent in regards to price, not just starting price, but also the price out the door. That monthly payment you're going to make if you need to finance or lease is going to be one of the least expensive payments on the market, while providing the most, or one of the most. When this first came out, this new redesign Escape, the new platform, when it first came out, that second row had the most space out of the entire segment. So this, on the inside, this does not feel like a small compact SUV. This feels, I can't say large and in charge, because I'm used to sitting up really high in a Ford F-150 as my daily. But this is spacious. More than, I've got so much space left over. I've got, what is that, 6-7 inches of space left over, and the seat is not on its lowest setting. Right now I set it to about the middle position. I could go down quite a bit, and I could still go up several inches for people who are shorter. Don't worry in regards to seat position. With this electric seat that adjusts in height, everyone can find the right position so that they can see the road and drive safely. Speaking of seeing the road, this is the type of road we've been going over. So you can see the bumps coming right up, and the vehicle absorbing that really well. Now, these bumps are nothing compared to the bumps that were in my neighborhood, driving out of my residential neighborhood. The bumps there weren't just bumps, they were bumps and, 2, 3, 4 inch potholes. So really nice, very, very good at absorbing uneven asphalt, cracks in the asphalt. The vehicle is, the insulation, sound deadening on the vehicle is quite good. I really like, you got a nice elbow rest up top if you like to sit in a higher position. Shorter people, or people who want to have their arms lower on the steering wheel, well, the center console is perfectly placed. It's nice and long, so whether you have to sit up close to the steering wheel or further back, everyone's going to be able to put their elbow down, should be able to put their elbow down on that nice center console. And on the left, I love how the door handle, or the door switches for the windows turns into an armrest. Nice leather padding, or Activix, it's recycled plastic actually. Nice padding, so very comfortable for seating position. For my elbows, for my back. The heated seats work on 3 functions, all the way from almost burning to just, slightly warm to very hot, we'll say. No cooled seats, but no need, because while the sides of the seats are stylish recycled plastic called Activix, or reused plastic called Activix, the middle is tissue that'll take 10 seconds to take your body temp. It doesn't get hot even if it's in the sun, so nothing on the seat's gonna burn you. Maybe the sides a little, but the windows are tinted enough that the sun doesn't heat them up to burn your skin temperatures. I'm loving the 13-inch screen. Big, huge 13-inch screen, touch screen, functionality, easy to use. Everything seems to be in the right place. Now, if you're someone that finds those screens distracting, well, you're out of luck, because that's where pretty much all your buttons are. So you don't have physical buttons underneath. So for some, that might be a little down point. The new screen behind the steering wheel, the 8-inch screen, or is it 8? Might be 10. It's a nice size. It looks like an 8-inch screen. Very informative. It in big digital numbering tells me the speed I'm going in both miles per hour and kilometers per hour. So that's cool. And it also tells me the speed limit. Very, very helpful. Blend in here. Sounds like I'm still in an electric mode. Very nice. I'm on the highway, I'm in electric mode, and I didn't force the vehicle to be all electric. I'm now down to 35 kilometers. So from where I left home, 10 kilometers used, but actually distance traveled 20 kilometers. Take it in the bendies here. Holds well together. Power out of the bendy. That actually, the suspension is kind of sporty. It handles just fine. Turn on the cruise control. Adaptive cruise control with blind spot monitoring. And it's not an annoying system. It's not going to cut your radio or music to let you know someone's in your blind spot. It's just going to light up a little orange. Well, it's not a dot, it's actually a visualization or a representation of two vehicles. So very easy to see when someone's in the blind spot, but very nice that it's not a bossy system. It's not like a nanny system. It's really an assistance, not a nanny-ince or annoyance. So let's see for the lane. Oh, maybe it doesn't have, I'll have to check. This feels more like lane keeping than lane centering. So for the lane keeping, I guess we'd have to go up to the next. Yeah, there we go. For lane centering, we'd have to go up to the next trim. So this has lane keeping, which is still great from keeping you from going out of the lines here. Merge back into the right lane. Very nice vehicle. Love how this drives. If you're seeking power, this isn't the right vehicle for you. If you're seeking economy, this is the right vehicle. This is a fantastic vehicle in regards to keeping your wallet as thick as possible, and that's not with, you know, credit cards that are filled up. I mean, cash thick. Let's try here on the slowdown here. Because the monthly payment on this is great. The quality of the vehicle for the price is absolutely fantastic. The comfort, high level of comfort. Near silent vehicle. It would be completely silent if it wasn't for the legal requirement to make noise when you're at lower speed. So you're going through residential areas, it's going to make a little artificial space noise. Positioning, I really like the touchscreen. The touchscreen is beautiful. Positioning of the seat, the style of the vehicle. I personally really like the style. Marie-Pierre really likes the style of this vehicle. And I think we've used almost no fuel coming to work without having to force the vehicle into all electric mode. We could have forced the vehicle into all electric mode, but we just didn't have to. Did a great job managing itself. The system is smart, intuitive, styling, interior, exterior, very nice. I'm having trouble finding anything to really complain about this vehicle other than the power situation. Pretty low on power, but, and you know, enough to get the job done and enough for a family. I don't think anyone's buying these to race around in. They certainly shouldn't. Yeah, this is a big win. Big win. Wonderful backup camera. Intuitive, smart. I confirm this as a 10 out of 10 buy. So whether you're parking in tight spots or maneuvering tight parking spaces, this vehicle, this 2025 Ford Escape, is going to get you where you need to go in comfort and ease. Comfort and ease without much compromise, because the inside is not compromised. It's spacious, but you still have that ease of and comfort of driving around because the outside dimensions are very reasonable. Now to put it in reverse, you've got this dial here. You just have a little bit of trouble though when the sunlight is hitting right on, but at least when you put it in reverse, you may not see it on the dial very well, but you will see that the screen switches over to the backup camera. So that way you know that you're in reverse. And the white lines are great to tell you where you're gonna go if you continue to turn the way you're turned. And you've got sensors. Little soft bell noise as we back up. And there we go. Pretty hard to have an accident when you've got a system as well developed as that. Now, don't worry, you will know whether the vehicle is on or off, not by sound. We hear absolutely nothing at the moment, but it says ready, and that means it's ready to drive. So that way you know you hit the button. Now, no more lights on the transmission. Screen gives you that little out screen, and there you go. You know your trip is done. And now let's just cover the one thing that isn't fun with the Ford Escape plug-in. It's only front wheel drive. So yes, I do rate this 10 out of 10 if you're comparing it to other front wheel drive SUVs that are great for families. This is a fantastic vehicle for families. I highly recommend it. The only thing that really bothers me is that we can't spend an extra $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000 more to get all-wheel drive. And that's really the only downside of this vehicle. As long as this vehicle stays free of any major problems and continues to prove to be reliable, I'm gonna say it's a 10 out of 10 when comparing it to other front-wheel drive plug-ins. Only downside, you can't have it in all-wheel drive. So what can we do? Well, you can spend more for a Lincoln Corsair plug-in all-wheel drive, or hope that Ford comes out with a different product that's going to be plug-in and all-wheel drive. And in the meantime, well, we can hit like, subscribe, check out one of these other videos, and turn bell notifications on. Thank you so much. Truly blessed to have had you watch the video to the end. Wish you all more cars and more power.